Macaroni and cheese.
All right.
Breakfast with
What
champions.
Is
is
that cheese spaghetti?
up,
The,
chat gang?
Oh, hi.
Chitty chat.
Hi. Oh, hi.
Oh,
Anytime
hi.
someone says "oh hi,"
Oh.
I think of cute bugs and stuff.
Oh, I think IOOH. Oh, hi.
Yeah,
Hello.
like OHAI, like oh hi, and it's the little bug with the meme.
Oh, hi.
Right? Oh hi, and
Oh,
then
hi.
and then for like ever since and all the way through now, whenever I go to the zoo, if I see a cute animal that's like ugly cute, you know what I'm talking about, like a bug or a reptile, I'll take a picture of it and I tag it as oh hi, and I send it to my friend Joe, and we have done this for almost 20 years now. Like, it's just a
Nice.
back and forth. We'll send a picture that says "oh hi" to each other, and that's it. That's yeah. So what is up, chat gang? How are you this fine Tuesday evening? Pay no attention to the title, because in the world of vampires, it is Monday evening, a stormy Monday evening. In fact, if you see otherwise, you need to hit refresh. But in any case, it should be episode 16 of Second City
Jazz.
Blues.
It's a day.
Oh, I am like gassed. It's been, I don't know. It's been a while. I can't
It's been a
even.
while.
I can't pinpoint where I had like a day where it wasn't a day, you know. So I'm like, oh, so this is like a streak now. Maybe this is just life.
Every day.
I don't
another
think
day.
I don't think my therapist has the correct combination of meds, because they've been messing with them, and I'm just like, it hasn't recovered. It's sucked, and it probably doesn't help that I forgot to take mine today. But hey, how's it going?
But hey.
I am the magical Mr. Mephisto, joined by a wonderful cast of the best goddamn role players on the internet. Everyone should be following.
I can't argue with that.
Oh.
And Scott.
I could argue with that, but I won't.
That was harsh. But before we get into it, before we even read our content creation, somebody is wearing I'm told, a very thematic, in celebration of Valentine's Day shirt of some sort.
All right, Shelly, plug your shop.
Oh.
Read it.
As you can see on Michael, he is currently wearing the "I'm not a bottom, I just play one in games." It comes in both shirt and hoodie, and the shirt goes to, I believe, 6XL, and the hoodie goes to 3XL, and they're embroidered, and it's very nice embroidery.
It is very nice.
And currently we're running a 14% off sale because of Valentine's Day. Go to Shelly, SHELL -shop.fourthwall.com to go do that.
To buy your what's the message? Say one more time. I have to.
I'm not a bottom. I just play one in games.
Go buy one for your favorite pretend bottom.
Feel free to plug it in chat, gang. So and we'll be sure to put it in the down there part when we export this pod to YouTube.
The sale
may be over, by the time but
buy the shirt anyway.
But buy it anyway. Yeah.
I think
support awesome people on the internet. Yeah, there's Dob Lord. Fuck Joanne. Dobby rules. Dr. Dobby. He prescribes.
I got to throw money at Shelly and pay for the most expensive joke ever.
He's had a wardrobe change. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I got to support Shelly and pay for the most expensive joke gift ever.
No, it's just a gift. It's amazing. It's a great joke.
You're right.
Dr. Dobbins has had a wardrobe change. He wore a green like a green tealy collar for a while, and I was tired of everyone thinking he looked like Scrappy. So now he's rocking one that's got. So he's got to show off his shirt too. It's got skulls on it, and it's reflectorized. So he's no. I do not need your usual prescription of cuddles. He can tell that I'm having a rough day because all he wants to do is we're trauma bonded, and he's like, this man needs cuddles. Or he needs to go outside. Why don't you guys read our content warning whilst
my turn again, Roman.
I think I read it last time.
Yeah,
I lost the
I got
link
it.
for it. Okay.
I have to push the button to find the thing. Hold on.
Push the button, find the thing. Push the button, find the thing.
The following show takes place in the world of darkness and explores narratives of personal horror. This story is a work of fiction.
Oh.
And is not official rule to some listeners. Episodes may contain coarse language, sexual content, mental and emotional abuse, violence, mental illness, and blood. Viewer discretion is advised. Portions of the materials are the copyrights and trademarks of Paradox Interactive AB and are used with permission. All rights reserved. For more information, please visit worldofdarkness.com. Thank you for watching Endless Elegy. We hope you've enjoyed the story thus far and invite you to like, follow, and subscribe on Twitch or follow your favorite player. By doing this, you will help support the show and get updates when our next episode goes live. If you'd like to be a part of our community, you can follow us on Twitter and join our Discord. All links are in the show notes, aka the down there portion.
I timed that perfectly. Amazing. Yeah, Incantibot's asleep. I couldn't be bothered to wake them up. But I will pay the tangent tax. I know everyone's really excited to play tonight, and I gave everyone I can't run late because I got to get up early tomorrow. For reasons, so I'll play the tangent tax. However long this tangent takes, I will go over on the time of RP. Okay. So my son and my daughter last week were like, we already know who our Valentine is. And like, as it goes, my son
Are they
is
like 12 and 7?
basically, yeah. Colin's 11. He's in the 5th grade. Yeah. And as the story this was one of those things where like, okay, cool. And then like we had to have like more investigation. And my daughter's was a lot more just playing off of what my son said without understanding it. But a girl who has been crushing on him since like pre-K put a note in his locker that like, be my Valentine and whatever. So right now he is out there building her a flower out of Legos. Which is just
Amazing.
adorable, but also I may be time for the talk. Does anyone please at me at Mr. Mori on your favorite social media about when I should be giving my child the talk? And I tell that story.
Delay.
I mean, I never had the talk. I just had health class.
Well, and that's the thing is like, is health class even adequate? I'm so old now, I don't even know.
Yo, I can tell you right now, there's 6th graders that talk about some pretty freaky shit now in middle school.
Yeah. So
Now, I was talking about pretty freaky shit when I was like 8.
Most of my 6th graders talk like they're 40 with Mickey Mouse voices.
I didn't know what head was until college. So like I didn't know
These kids talk about blowing out backs.
What the term head was. Like I didn't know what like, oh, they'll give people head. I'm like, yeah. And that was the sort of thing where I just played along and pretended I knew what it meant, but I had no fucking clue.
I had a cousin that was 6 years older than me and was living with us at the time, and she got pregnant at 16 and was living with us. So yeah, I learned about the birds and the bees and the prophecy and the sword and the
and the sword.
Thank you, Sam Reich, for that joke. That was great. That was a make some noise reference.
That was good. That was good. No, I see. We're trying to raise our kids to where like platonic love is okay, and not like, ooh, is that your girlfriend? And make a big deal out of it if they're hanging out with like the
but like other kids will make a big deal out of it because they're jerks.
And so it's like,
Can't confirm.
And that's the thing is like it's such a I'm trying to raise my kids with like a lot more like gender positive and gender neutral where applicable. Like big thing in our house is like there's no such thing as girl toys or boy toys. There's no such thing as a girl show or a
Are you
boy
kidding?
show. And
Tangent off a tangent. One of my best friends is a dude, and we like binge Jollibee's Chicken Joy this weekend as like a pre-Valentine's thing while we were watching like Legend of Vox Machina. Like
again,
I dig platonic love.
huge fan of platonic love, and so I want my kids to grow up because I think you start to stigmatize it, and then they're like, oh well, now I can't hang out with that opposite gender person unless they are my girlfriend, and I think that it builds a weird. That's just my own hypothesis.
We had a girl try to stab a girl last week because she liked her boyfriend with a 5-inch knife.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'd like my kids to have more positive relationships with the opposite gender.
That's really
just
definitely better than stabbing. Yeah.
But the again, so this tangent begins in pre-K with my son. He's gone to pre-K with this girl. She took a dip out of the same school she went to be homeschooled. COVID did shit for people, and when she came back, like they called each other on the phone, and my son had never held a cellular telephone, which is something I never realized. I mean, he's 10 years old. This kid knows a lot of things. Well, 11 now. And so he was holding it like this and talking into it without it being on speakerphone. And it's like, Colin, put it up to your ear. And it was then that I realized how ancient I am, because a telephone back in the day, there was only one way to hold it because it was physically, like it made it obvious. And so cell phone, this thing that he played games on my phone for, right? Like he's holding it like this. Now he's holding it. I'm like, Colin, put it up to your ear. So anyway,
the parenting move would have been to push speakerphone so you could eavesdrop without eavesdropping, and him thinking it's just normal.
As if we weren't.
It is? That's a lie.
we were in the car. No, it was really funny because she was coming back to school and she wanted to talk to Colin, and the parents talk to the parents, and that's like a whole thing. Play dates is a whole thing. So like you're unintentionally thrown into relationships with adults you don't know or care about because your kids want to hang out, and that is a weird thing. But so this girl, and there've been like crushes and stuff because it's just innocent. They don't know, and they do now. They don't call it playing house; they call it playing family. Okay, and that's been the thing since I can remember. And so when the kids would play family, this one boy came up, and like so two girls came up, and they're like, "Well, we want you to be our husband." And this one boy came up to want to be Colin's husband, and Colin said, "He's like." Well, I wouldn't really want to marry you, but that's cool that you want to marry a guy, and you can marry any guy you want. But I'm into this, and it was like in his most in this like I must be doing something right as a parent type way. So I went on that whole big tangent to say my son knew on a core level in pre-K that love is fucking love. Some of it, and so I think it's kind to remind folk around this time.
Yeah. Hate is programmed.
That hate is programmed, and kids understand like love a lot more fundamentally, and love is love, and so just don't be a hater.
Also proof that platonic love exists. Ask me and Michael.
So yeah, it was just really quaint, and I walked out there and I saw him building the Lego flower, and I'm like, I'll be damned if my children grow up without any game.
I mean, Lego flower is a pretty good game.
A pretty solid game. That's pretty good.
I mean, he's giving up like his Legos, right? Like if you give a girl a flower made out of Legos, you ain't getting that shit back.
Like fast forward 20 years from now, somehow he's still in contact with this job. Unlikely, right? Like it should happen. But like 20 years, and you can have your coat, your basketball jersey, and your Legos. It's just like chucking it out the window.
Lego flower.
I mean, Legos is cheaper than a varsity jacket, right?
Yeah, that breakup would be that breakup.
Now there's just caltrops in the lawn forever, like anyone who comes over just like you hit
for
those
20
Legos
years
with
from now she's holding a Lego flower thinking about the one that got away.
Yeah, and then she's gonna be like, damn, these must be worth a fortune now because Legos are expensive.
Yeah, just keep going up.
Inflation.
Oh yeah. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
So I clocked that at about was that about 10 minutes of a tangent, so we can go over by 10 minutes. I'll pay the tangent. He heard me.
Okay.
No, he must not have heard me. Yes, Colin, what's up? You bringing him here?
Might be good that he didn't.
No. Can I look at these? Can I show these to my stream?
Flower check.
Those
Oh
are so
my
good.
God.
Okay. Damn.
Should we tell
Fucking
him
point.
he's not getting those back?
Go for Gabian, please, bud. Those look awesome.
Nah, don't tell him. He'll find out the hard way later.
Look, everyone needs some formative adversity, all right? And heartbreak is part of formative adversity.
I mean, losing
Don't say
Legos,
that,
man.
because he's got to still go through middle school.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a
always
fucking
more Legos.
landmine of
Those people are monsters.
that's a fucking landmine of
That's the real
formative
world of
heartbreak.
darkness. Who are you kidding?
Middle
The world of darkness
schoolers.
is just middle school. Shit.
Charles, if you move in together, then you can dismantle the flower and add it back to your Lego collection years later. Play the long game.
Just
yeah.
to reacquire your Legos later.
Nice.
Oh man.
Then a week later, have you seen my Lego flower?
So you remember that flower I gave you?
20
I really needed to finish building the Star Destroyer over here.
Actually, I didn't realize I put the pivotal Death Star piece in that flower.
God damn it.
Hey guys, I'm actually it's weird because like it's this simultaneous fear and pride in a way that is difficult to describe to someone. That, you know, this like weird little like budding, I can't even call it puppy love, you know, they're not
I
like
think you're
making out
fucking
or whatever.
cute, right?
But like
And he knows
they just
that.
have this little really cutesy, if you talk about the girl in front of him, he goes like that. And we as parents, we talk to the other parents, so we both know, you know, some of the stuff. And so we kind of get these little versions of it. She's been to like every one of his birthday parties, and she always comes with a couple of her friends. And so it's like really funny, but it's also like terrifying because you're like, wait a second, when do I, because I don't want to make it weird. Have I made it weird by having
I'm not gonna lie, I have very few like female friends, because a lot like in-person female friends, because a lot of them I've found really like petty growing up and just like hyper competitive, and I'm like, I ain't got time for that.
I think part of that has to do with like how we're socialized, and I would like to blame the patriarchy in that sense, because you're taught to essentially compete over the affections and attentions of the opposite gender, and in various kind of shitty ways once you get down to it. And again, I can't fight the entire world and what it's going to do to my kid, but I can at least hope to give them both a solid foundation so that when they're exposed to the world, they can both cope and remain somewhat intact as decent people. You know, because they're gonna, you know, like a kid's hazing you it's so hard as any parent to overcome the power of a bunch of other children. Like that shit is
punt those little fuckers, every single one of them.
But yeah, so we've had now 2000 what is it called? What are they called now? There's an inside joke about that. Ability milk spent to remind everyone that chat gang ain't nothing to fuck with. I refuse to tell you why they are no longer called relentless discipline points and they are now called ability milk.
I'm not gonna ask.
Hey, anything up here?
You're not gonna ask. You're not gonna ask me to recap again, are you? Because it went so well last time.
Anything up in my head comes out eventually on a long enough timeline, so you will eventually learn why the channel points are now called ability milk.
Someone do the recap that's relevant, because I did nothing last session.
I am indeed a weird dude. Thank you.
I don't even remember what happened last time.
I spent 1,000 ability milk. I think like so many other things in life, Scott and Michael can tag team this one.
Sorry, I have to do this.
Oh man, North Shore GM spending 2,000 ability milk to
It's
remind
not as
everyone
boring as I
chat gang
thought.
ain't nothing to fuck with.
I just want to hear you say ability milk.
He's trying to get me to say why it's called ability milk.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, this joke.
Previously on Oh God, Why?
Never get old.
I went to see a show at the theater.
A show, huh?
So many ghosts.
We went to see a show in Silent Hill
Yeah.
where the
It's pretty
PDA
great.
popped in, and
Yeah.
we found a friend in a wall with a head
Yep.
painting.
Yeah, poor Janet had been there for a while. Kind of bonded with the place a bit.
Didn't want to leave.
Yeah. You get attached to places sometimes and you just kind of become a part of it.
And your ideas just flow.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Just creativity everywhere.
This is like a Stoner's recap.
And then the food started going out of focus, and
Yeah.
I started asking
Then
my whole stuff, and we cut to black.
And I opened a book, and then the Static Man tried to hug me.
Ashley went to go see the Malkavian Primogen and got the A-OK. And that's it.
Yeah, yes, Shelley had to watch Bloodsport the movie live.
God.
And Sasha didn't murder anyone
That's true.
yet.
I haven't murdered anyone either. You think it's been a while
There's
for
been
her?
a distinctive lack of murder recently.
I'm walking around blue. What are you talking about? I got to murder one thing.
What are you talking about? You helped take down that gargoyle once
That
upon
was
a
the one
time.
thing.
Yeah, but it was pretty epic though. You did do a really badass job. I remember that.
Yeah, no, it was a good encounter.
It was also like stay in marsh.
Like,
So,
just need more things for Damon to kill in a badass manner.
so
But
we
Dave.
find ourselves approximately a week forward in time.
It's hurtful to me.
Rory and Damon are staring at the wall where Janet Wix's creativity has been splattered all over the place with this sort of like haze and barrier, and the Static Man sort of looming over almost like a deity, right? Clutching the world, you can imagine. And he begins to peel and tear himself from the brick. It has this just sort of like wet tearing, just sort of visceral sound as he does so. As it's not like art is pulling itself off of a wall or a mural's coming to life. It is as though it is struggling to pierce reality, and reality is trying to stop it. And as it does this heinous sort of crackling, tearing static, this white noise gets to the point where Damon and Rory find themselves experiencing vertigo. It is so intense. And as their vision sort of whites out from the noise, we find ourselves a week in the future at Elysium.
I hate it.
I'm excited.
Where does Chicago use its primary Elysium before I just make shit up?
I think it's
Taco Bell.
somewhere downtown. I can't remember.
I thought it was part of the 8 Mile fair or whatever it was.
Time for me to do shenanigans. So Elysium, you say, right?
Shenanigans again?
Okay. So what I'd like to do before we go to Elysium, keep tabs on one of my favorite vampires, the one who was cool enough to let me bud bond him.
Rude.
What you're saying is it's been a week, so you would like to have that bond strength to 3. Is that what you want to say to me?
You're saying it's been 1 week?
It's been.
Okay, first of all,
minus. -1 DKP.
No, don't punish the entire group for one.
-1 DKP.
It was Michael's fault. I had to.
No, don't punish me for this. I'm not trying to strengthen a blood bond. That is not the point of why that had to happen.
I think the problem there is we already punished Andrew.
Okay.
Do you
No,
want me to run
what-
this game or not? I will turn this RPG right around.
So you know that Aspect 3 ability that I got because I thought it would be fun. I'd like to use that. And I would like to activate the sound auditory version of it. I'm not trying to actually no, that would really hurt if I tried to do that. Overstimulation. Do I want to get visuals? No, I just want to get audio. I'm aiming for an eavesdrop situation. So I would like to just out of curiosity, because there are things that this whole ass man isn't telling me, and I want to know what it's all about. Let me double check something. Hey, look at that! I have my book open on Auspex. Interesting. Okay, so that is a. God damn it. Huh? Okay, sorry. Share the senses. So it's one rouse check. Uh-oh. Oh, by the way, since we time jump a week, would there have been an opportunity to, deal with the hunger situation?
I'm sorry. We'll reset it all to everyone. Go basically. We'll reset it to
1.
If your blood potency allows without killing someone, we can reset it to 0 for you.
Oh no.
Results may vary. And we
okay.
will. And when it is narratively relevant, I will have everyone roll for the evening, as you're supposed to do.
Okay, so I roused to
And
activate.
I'm sorry, I'm doing that thing
share
where I'm
the
trying to read and listen at the same time.
Okay, well, I got hungrier, but I'm gonna do the thing.
Okay.
Do the thing. Do the thing.
Okay, resolve plus Auspex.
I like it being called in Millennium Park. Like
Sure.
there can be like a place where it's called, but for this evening on this auspicious occasion, about 10 blocks from the Succubus Club is a place
Succubus Club.
called Millennium Park.
Sexy.
And we will have Elysium take place outdoors at Millennium Park, so we can partake in the. We didn't see when the new moon occurred, by the way, if you've been roughly tracking my very crude track of the moon cycle. So we're actually into November now. We've kind of skipped over Halloween and any events thereof, because I believe I had the campaign, the Chronicle, taking place in like late October is when we started off.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be in like November-ish.
Okay. So it says resolve plus aspects of difficulty 3. Difficulty can go up depending on distraction, distance, and other factors, such as the amount of the user's blood that remains in the target. Eh? I mean, it's pretty fresh. It's like a week old. That's still floating around in there, right?
And that's assuming you haven't re-upped it.
All right. Let me check the ability here. I'm sure you've actually re-upped it, by the way. Which ability were you referring to? The false.
Share the senses.
Okay. And one more time, what did you roll? I'm sorry. What was this? What did you roll?
Is the difficulty? I haven't rolled anything yet. I'm wondering if the difficulty's changing based on.
It would be getting easier from what I just heard.
distraction, distance, other factors. Like he's in town, right? So it's got to be easier than trying to spy on him a bajillion miles away.
Yeah, hang on. House specs. There we go. You've been waiting your whole life for this, by the way.
No, just 30 years.
Oh, it's still 3.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay. Oh boy. Hold on.
Is someone using willpower?
No. 1, 2, 6. Okay, it's 6 with a messy critical.
All right.
And it's just for auditory voices, conversations. Give me
All right,
something juicy. It's a
All
messy
right.
critical.
So at some point over the week, you've spied on your charge here.
Make it sound so clinical.
So it is assumed that you've done various other things for this week, except for our 2 characters that we've left hanging. We've left them on red here for a moment.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. A bulk of what you've been doing for the week, I assume, is sort of cowboy bebopping your way around and gathering intel on and I'm just gonna like kind of give it to you for free. Like you successfully sort of gathered the info you'll need that we will it'll either come out later on this evening or it'll come out next week regarding your sire and some compound business, because you had to pretty much basically I'm saying like with a week's time you were able to, with your resources and your abilities and persuasive methodology, whether it be punching people or using presence or whatever, you were able to actually like extract the information you needed. It did take some time, and it really, in order for you to get it, we can hand wave, we can do a flashback later on if you want, but to preserve some narrative drama and intensity, but also keep the plot narrative going forward, I wanted the time jump. Plus, mechanically speaking, I feel like everyone needed a good amount of time to recoup from some just.
Oh wait, does that mean I finally healed the last egg?
Yes, you have.
Yeah, that egg damage has been sitting there forever.
And it's kind of like in a
forever.
cave in an RPG, when you suddenly find yourself opening a bunch of like potions of like higher quality, like you're playing Final Fantasy and then like you suddenly open up a bunch of X potions and like revives and stuff. You're like, huh, why are they throwing all these resources at me? It's not because a boss fight's like totally coming up or anything. So anyway, speaking of boss fights,
this is gonna cost me later. I will take it.
I will get to the conversation you have heard sort of like after I set the scene with Elysium, all right? And just real quick, would you be at Elysium, yes or no? I'll tell you what the gist of it is, or what you understand it to be. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Damn it. I'm multitasking. I am eavesdropping while at Elysium.
Ooh, okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. In which case, your blood bond strength has gone up probably to at least 2, possibly 3.
Yes.
No? Yeah? Okay.
Yes. Okay, we'll go with it. We'll go with it.
I'll put your bond strength up
Double
to
down.
10.
I have a question though. The bond strength can go down if we just let it lapse, right?
Yeah, you let it naturally decrease over time, it'll go down. There are probably some other niche ways, and there were ways in previous editions, but for the most part, it's a time thing.
Okay.
It's yeah, I mean it's heroin. Like he's addicted to heroin right now, and it's just you can cold turkey that stuff, but it's not pretty. Heroin.
Shut up. Okay.
You know, you just need to. You gotta
Can I
like. You gotta
also-
like
can I
Pokemon your
also-
ex. This, by the way, like you gotta Pokemon your ex-boyfriend.
Okay,
and
but
just
can
go
I
around blood bonding them
also-
all,
Can I?
including
She
Rory.
doesn't have that many relevant ones. She has like.
Like fucking Sneevil or whatever the fuck that Pokemon's
Okay,
name
but
is
I have a
relevant. Like,
question.
who
Can
gives a
I?
relevance? Got nothing to do with catching them
Can
all.
I?
Okay.
Can I also up Kiara's bond strength while I'm at it? Since
Yeah, Kiara
I'm have.
is. I will put Max Kiara out just
Okay.
because she's been. We've been a little anachronistic with our storytelling. And so
Sure, fine. So my blood bonding business is clear for the week. I can go to Elysium.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
in. Let's fucking go.
Yeah. All right. So you're at Millennium Park. It is
Falcon.
a fresh Chicago blustery fall evening. Now the lake effect, Lake Michigan, or being close to that large body of water it tends to keep the falls more mild, warmer basically, later into the season. But you also, on the flip side, your springs stay colder later into the season too. So hey, lake effect. So it is sort of a pretty mild evening for like sort of a November Midwest evening. It's like the moniker entails, it's pretty darn windy, and the phase of the moon is unknown to all because there is a thick cloud cover that is promising a downpour. The city lights almost look like their own little sort of stars as the skyscrapers sort of cast their reflections out deep into Lake Michigan, to be swallowed up by the impending abyss the further away the reflections get from the city proper. And you have this little nestled area sort of carved out in Millennium Park. Now, Millennium Park is part of the Chicago Loop area for any of those playing the home game. Sort of famous for that beam sculpture. You know, it's got the little reflective thing, but it's home to sort of actually some pretty lush public areas, and like there's some good walking trails and stuff like that. And for Kindred Society, they happen to know of a couple of the more obscure trails through the wilderness segment, the sort of like manicured wilderness segments that'll get them out of the eyes and ears of any wandering kind. Similarly, a sort of perimeter of various trusted, we'll just call them lackeys, whether it be ghoul or kind on the take or thin bloods, are sort of on the perimeter of Millennium Park. Parks are supposed to close down. Usually, public parks tend to close down around 10 p.m. anyway. So you're technically not supposed to be in the park after hours, even though it's not like they're going to literally close them with bars and gates and doors and stuff. But point is it keeps foot traffic to a minimum anyway, and any sort of just sort of like coincidental kind who might wander there are deterred by a inconspicuous sort of perimeter of ghouls and obfuscated kindred, or even the occasional foot patrol police officer who's on on like the take with some Ventru, right? So in one form or another, be it bonded or bribed. Not everyone who's under kindred control is under, for some, the old methods of control, basic corruption, work just great, especially without letting them in on, this whole vampire thing. So making sure that cop is getting a donut from not to be cliche or anything like that. I was pulling from there's a mini donut shop we used to get that was phenomenal. Like fair donuts. Imagine the best fair donuts you've ever had, like mini fair donuts all year round, and just a little like single person stand, uh, basically like there just happens to be a cop just happens to be getting those donuts at the exact time someone might be thinking to go into the park after curfew, and then like just realizes it's probably not worth getting at least hassled, so they keep walking by. Stuff like that. Like I said, sometimes the old methods of control for Kindred are the best. So it's decently secured, but also just public enough to where Kindred aren't willing to start bullshit and break the masquerade. That's the other thing. It's got that kind of sweet spot of discretion, that you want. And tonight is a special evening, overcast and blustery as it may be, as a new primogen is about to be, I'm going to say sworn in, but sort of confirmed.
Voted in?
Voted in, confirmed amongst the council. And the hoi polloi, for the most part, of Chicago's kindred should be there. And of course, I lost my list that I had written down. Here we go.
PB&J is there. Turkey and rye.
Ruben. No, that's his real name. His name is Ruben.
Oh my god! Smoked meat sandwich. Sorry, Ruben. I was like, wait, that's a sandwich too.
Yeah.
Hey. I see what you did there, Shelly.
We're in
I'm
rare
like
form
smart
this
or
evening.
something. I'm like
Something.
bitch. Funny. Funny.
So
Meh.
you have Chicago's Primogen Council has some interesting quirks to it. I believe every fief does. None so strange as Milwaukee's, but one of the quirkiest being that whom the Tremere sort of go to as their Primogen in Chicago.
Yeah, isn't it the person that isn't the Tremere Primogen or the head of the
fucking ministry?
Yeah, he's ministry.
Yeah.
And and it's essentially I don't know how much we'll go into the politics in this sort of like fourth wall sense, but it has an awful lot to do with the fact that there are varying states of distrust between the sort of shakeup between the La Sombra joining, the Tremere getting blowed up. I love the double gun. There's a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, Marcel is sort of the ministry. A ministry independent, essentially, as it were, is actually the primogen of. So I appreciate the lurk. Now, where were we? I've set the scene. When do you want your sharing of the census to have occurred? Do you want it to be like a flashback to a conversation or a conversation actively going on? I can see, honestly, one actively going on being kind of narratively interesting, by the way, because whilst the kindred of Chicago are having a sort of an elysium of significance, obviously those that are trying to stay out of the gaze of the Camarilla might be having their own meetings, and
yeah, and I do know that Zoran doesn't really fuck with the Camarilla, does he? So he'd be elsewhere.
I mean, Zorn announced himself, ish, as is decorum to not stir the boat, or you have the understanding.
Well, I mean, I've been hanging out with him to the point that I've, upped the blood bond, so I must have gotten a sense of whether he would be attending or not.
He's not
Is that
attending. No, he's not attending.
Right. So I probably would have. What is the duration on this? I have to play this very intelligently. I will have it on
Well, it's my understanding that you tricked him
one
into
scene.
imbibing your blood, and then you
It
activate it.
wasn't a trick. He consumed it. He could have said no.
Yeah. And as somebody who is blood bonded, you can pretty much tap into his senses as long as he's bonded to you. It's just, your blood would be considered to be active within his system. So,
Yup.
so you can just like
messy
so
critical.
it's like when like really jealous spouses like install like tracking software on their spouse's cell phones just so they can like look into it like discreetly at any time. You basically have done the extreme version of that with Soren. Like at any time you just like check in on him.
Yeah, I think she does this for Elysium just so.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I think it's narratively more interesting that way too. In which case, let me have a quick break here, even though the bulk of it has been setting the scene and talking about a bunch of stuff. So I can get my ducks in a row a little bit on this one. And
Our ducks
no,
on
he
Thursday.
needs.
We're giving him time to think. Shit.
I
no.
fly really well from the seat of the cuff.
Le
but-
pants.
lay
Listen.
pants, but I want to. I just need a hot second to organize some of this. I'm gonna say goodnight to my kiddos and
Let's fly,
and
boy.
re-up my coffee. So
Yes, go burrito your children.
I'll BRB, and I'm beating Michael to the punch of asking for a BIOS break. So
Call down.
Valid.
all right, BRB, everybody.
Be right back.
Fireball the van.
Oh no. She's been feeding that human fucking vampire. I will have all of them.
You've completely lost it, haven't you?
You're a fucking weird dude. He's not as boring as I thought.
Think about it, Rory. You're a clever boy. I am going to find you.
fireball the van.
Scotty
Scott
doesn't
back?
care.
Oh, I went
Scotty
back
doesn't
without
know.
Scott being back.
Ah, come on.
Somehow narratively relevant. No, he'll pop back on, I'm sure.
Trish,
Michael, what's with the face, dude?
we're here.
I'm not here. I'm living in the past.
All right.
Yeah, it's true.
Um,
We're not at Elysium yet.
so our camera, they may be, it just the camera hasn't shown them per se. There's a decently sized turnout here. Now, it's not going to be every single kindred in the city, or even every single like primogen. Not every vampire is going to collect in the same spot. No matter how decently protected, no matter how well, you know, guarded, or how much of a secret it is, no matter what, they're just not, especially not since, the Second Inquisition really kicked off, right? It's just not going to happen. So some primogen have sent like essentially like a vizier, or like a proxy, like a well-known proxy or whatever. The harpy is sort of vetted vetted them, or between the harpy and the sheriff, they've essentially vetted the proxies and stuff like that. Sort of note, Khalid is the Nos primogen is understood to be around. You immediately see Annabelle, as you're sort of approaching. Rosa, the gangrel primogen, who's sort of trying to hang on to a seat, despite the gangrel sort of like leaving the Camarilla. And so she's got her own sort of blade's edge to walk. You see Marcel, who is the primogen of the Tremere, and there are a couple of La Sombra present. In particular, one you've known to have been sort of busy in Milwaukee. Her name is Abigail Winters. To give you the Cliff's notes, everyone watched the first season of Endless Elegy, Milwaukee by Night, to figure it out. But basically, she is. I guess, Scott, how would you describe Abigail Winters? Like, if you were to sort of like give folks the like summary from a player perspective before I go into.
She magically was always in the right place at the right time with all the information, and was a creepy snow pirate.
I respect how concise and to the point you are, Scott.
You neglected to mention that she saved the now sheriff of Milwaukee's life.
Hung him out to dry and magically showed up to save
She didn't
him.
hang him out to dry. She showed up to protect him from the sun.
Her timing was a little too perfect, okay?
I have a question. Okay.
Yeah.
The sheriff is who again?
The reluctant sheriff.
Yeah.
He's Damien. You think I'm joking? No, look at his name.
Name is Damien. Yeah.
And then the Harper
Isn't
is
he
who?
Bruja or something?
He is. He's a
Bruja
kid.
Yeah, Damien is Bruja.
Friday's back Jackson because he would let Damien be the sheriff.
Yeah.
I would tap that.
Damien is not currently there. Because
he's not there.
No. But he has previously vetted some of the proxies.
What about the harpy?
The harpy would be... Who's the harpy of Chicago?
I don't remember seeing that one. That's why I was asking.
Whoever finds it first. This is why I usually make up entirely new characters for every setting, so I don't have to worry about accidentally shitting on lore.
Who cares? Just shit on it. Just let it go.
I mean, most players like just try to like kill and take over the places anyway, right? When they start playing a new RPG.
Don't judge me.
I mean, if they have stats, players want to kill it.
Real talk.
That's why they don't stat certain things out.
You're just gonna die anyway. Why do the extra work?
Or just say you can't kill it. The stats are too high.
That's the first way to say like challenge accepted. I think it's
No, you show them the Kane character sheet. You fucking die.
Hold on.
I don't see. I just see the harpy referenced a few times. It doesn't actually say what the fuck the harpy is.
Well,
that's. Hold on. There's one.
I'm sure there's.
I haven't looked. Are we all just looking now?
No.
No. No.
That's fine. I'll find it.
Yeah, Brett Stryker's got some bullshit going on, but. This is
Brett Stryker, Bronwyn, Ads, and Mama Wald.
So what?
Harpies in Chicago.
Okay, so I was right about Brett Stryker. You said he got some bullshit going on. All right, Brett Stryker would be the one that's present.
Okay.
Thanks, Reddit.
Thanks, Reddit.
Again, and then there's a number of just sort of like non-ranked or random other kindred throughout. And as always, there's a handful of Nosferatu you don't see.
Of course.
But no, there are some actual Nos, including Wretch, and reluctantly Dwayne.
Well, I mean, our basement Nosferatu are under Contact's Camarilla, so they're supposed to be here somewhere. I just assume they're obfuscated.
You every time you look over at Dwayne, who is wearing he looks an awful lot like a Ashton Kutcher. Like Nosferatu love to embrace the particularly vain and beautiful. Okay, and he looks like a sort of like Ashton Kutcher from that 70s show.
He embraced knockoff Ashton Kutcher.
Like, but then now uglify him into being Nos. He still has like decent clumps of his hair actually, which he hides underneath a trucker's cap. And in sort of like nerdly sort of stereotype, he is like that really gangly sort of like stretched, nerd. He is, and he's wearing a My Life with a Thrill Kill Cult shirt, like t-shirt, and a pair of, what are those pants called? That corduroys, charcoal colored corduroy pants with a pair of Doc Martens. The trucker cap is like some, his taste in trucker caps is pretty solid. It's like an appropriately like vintaged, like found it in a really nice Goodwill, like you got in that bin, like this is the perfect ironic trucker cap, it's like one of those. And you can't help but notice every time, like periodically Wretch looking over at him and just like like laughing. And you hear one of the other Nosferatu like kind of be like, "What's so funny?" And he's like, I called in a boon to get him here. And he just like keeps laughing. I called in a boon to get him out of his fucking basement. And he just like keeps laughing about it.
Oh my gosh.
What a fucking
Scared.
weirdo.
Why does it matter if they're in public? They can just obfuscate every
Oh,
Nosferatu
no,
usually does.
sure, but Dwayne in particular, like, just hates
Doesn't
me.
want to leave his basement.
No, he never wants to like stop
Yeah.
gaming and content creating and stuff. Like he's a VTuber, you know.
Oh, of course he is.
He is.
I feel like his VTube model is like a really weird version of the Nosferatu like chibi, like from the movie, like bald head,
my-
big ears, like big fangs,
Oh,
just like
Count Orlok. I see. I
Yeah.
almost imagine I'm a little upset that you didn't go furry with it because I immediately thought furry. Like you have to
Oh,
be the most
no.
stereotypical VTuber ever. He makes very aggressive League of Legends like content, like because of course he would.
Of course he would. Fucking
course he would.
toxic.
Or no, Dota 2, right? Like that's even like the aggressive Dota 2 guy is even more like
So toxic.
Insufferable.
So toxic.
Come
But he
at
is-
us in the comments about it, bitches.
you won't fight me IRL. You won't. Kane, you fucking lose this character sheet though.
I wasn't joking. Kane has a character sheet.
I love
Okay,
it.
but like, let's. So the Nosferatu are somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are Nosferatu in Plainview. It's not like there are certain like faux pas about like aggressively using your disciplines at Elysium. Like, it's
Not aggressive if you're just hiding from people.
but
I mean,
the point is for whatever reason the Dwayne and Wretch rivalry continues even at Elysium. And
I'm here for it.
I'm thinking who the what the fuck was his name? The Giovanni dude.
Oh.
Mr. Giovanni.
Mr. Giovanni. Mr. Giovanni.
No, Sal's sire is there.
Oh,
I can't remember his name right now.
It's
that's
okay.
fine. We probably know
There's the point is there's a Giovanni, well, technically Puttanesca kindred there as well, and you can tell because he looks like a mafioso cliche. So yeah, you have this sort of like now a week later, you are technically already the Primogen, by the way. Like this is the back the sort of behind the scenes necessities have already happened. This is a show of decorum. So everyone's sort of milling about as the first sort of veil of rain falls across Millennium Park. And practically on cue, you see the sort of first wave of PKJ's entourage sort of step out of the clearing from one section of the woods shortly after, followed by PKJ, and then followed who is in turn followed by another portion of his entourage. Damien now sort of lingers sort of outside of the entourage proper, a little off to the side. And the rains begin to pick up, and sort of in turn, PKJ's voice sort of comes out. He's like, He's like, I can think of no finer night to make such a grand announcement, he says. Proper storm heralds for many a changing of the winds, and in our case, a changing of the guard. Some of you have already heard, and many of you already know. The Venture Primogen, William, left
Bradley.
us.
William. Oh, I thought you were looking for the last name. I was like,
Left us under tragic and unconventional circumstances, and
seriously, bro.
whilst some of you may be saddened, as he was certainly, well, a kindred that did his best to further Chicago's interests, I can think of no more appropriate replacement than his very own child and Chicago's daughter, Ashley.
Oh
Dame.
no. She's been feeding
Ashley
that
is
human
in
fucking
this
vampire.
long, I showed it to the group already, but this long hooded puffer jacket from Alaya, and her usual black wrap dress underneath, and tights and heels. She had a blowout and everything.
Sam's holding the umbrella over her.
Exactly. And Ashley just takes off her hood gently.
Didn't you pick up another ghoul recently too?
Nope. Well, I mean, yeah, but he's dead. So
that's right.
It's okay.
He had a short tenure.
I'd imagine not too far out of range of Ashley is where Sasha is. Like, she's kind of like loosely in your entourage, you know?
And I don't know. That's up to Sasha.
She's kind of off
I suppose.
to the side, because I imagine Ashley is called up and stuff by important people, but she doesn't like hang off of Ashley in any way. She just kind of lets that happen because she's no one of importance. She's gonna lean against a tree somewhere where she can see everything.
Yeah, and you're actually Ashley, Dame, whatever like potential entourage. You probably have like unnamed assorted kindred that you've dealt with forever that are, kind of like around you, sort of in at least like decent vicinity type thing. A lot of the
I was gonna say there's probably like some junior, like I say junior club, but like the the kindred version.
The juniors.
No, the juniors, like the kindred version of the junior society around her.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add that the Torador, actually, like Annabelle and like a little bit of her like clutch is like in close proximity. Not like Annabelle's not going to stand in your entourage, but like there's that sort of Venn diagram where the Torador that are accompanying her, as if a show to sort of essentially like sort of like give a visual show of support. To the other kindred, like very much signaling like we back her directly, like type thing. So it's a very, kindred etiquette type maneuver where she's showing a public display of like we back this decision type thing, because she's true to her word, right? She's true to her word and of what was sort of like established through the coterie's early struggles and the outcome and the club and all of this. She's like, so PKJ looks across at you and he's like, and you kind of have this like sort of, circular thing going on throughout the clearing. And PKJ, would you like to maybe say anything, Ashley Dame, as we announce your primogency?
Ashley steps forward and I feel like Sam 3 probably tries to walk with her. She just like puts out a hand and walks forward into the rain, hood down, and says, "Though I am a child of a peaceful time, my sire was not. He was made for war. And he taught me things about dealing with war. Those of you who might turn a blind eye to it, or those of you who are not in the know, we are at war. We are at war with those who would see our kind dead in the streets. We are at war with those who are within our ranks. We must come together now and fight against these horrendous outside forces. I want
Go ahead.
I want the Ventru of this city to be a pillar of strength that we haven't seen in a very long time.
All right. I want you to roll either charisma leadership or charisma persuasion.
Okay.
Whilst you're delivering your speech, I would like for Sasha to roll a wits awareness.
You said leadership or persuasion?
Yes.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
So I've got the share the senses situation. Able to also heighten senses from my wits awareness while I'm doing that, or is that
I believe
just
it kind of explicitly states you can't activate more than one
okay?
discipline at once, but that might be it per scene. I can't remember how that goes.
Okay, it's
I would
fine
say due to
because
the nature of this, no. Just because like you
okay,
can't like I don't think you can be auspexing like you're paying it like it's enough to kind of straddle two sets of senses.
okay.
I don't think you can
You
directly.
can't auspex while you auxpex exhibit.
Okay, yeah, I only got 2 successes.
7.
You hear
That's 7 with a crit, by the way.
So Ashley, you notice like a good resident like your message seems to be resonating pretty decently with like a lot of what the sort of like more neutral kindred who are just like, yeah, okay, whatever, like, crossing their arms are like, yeah, whatever, we just got to make an appearance, because we owe this person and we're making an appearance just to keep up appearances, yada yada yada, right? Like those, they're kind of like, huh? Oh, okay, like, all right, cool. And then some of the ones who were particularly, you could tell that they have like a very skeptic air to them, actually kind of are taken aback a little bit, like, and like obviously the people who like already hate you de facto or just can't really sway them, but even though those ones give a little bit of that, like, oh, okay, I see we got a real player here we might have to deal with, like we might actually have to play ball with, so like even the haters are like, oh shit, we're gonna actually have to fucking play ball with this one, and so your message is delivered with like this absolute gravitas that I guess were I to put it on some sort of like arbitrary linear scale on a from like 1 to 10, you win like say like 70% of the people's attention, totally unrelated to any dice rolls, maybe even 80, on account of you just, I don't know, like maybe you're just some sort of like sweet spot or like crit.
Yeah.
So try to, I'm being clever
understand.
about it being a game where dice are rolled. No point, but the real of it is like your message is good, and then you back, so you had the ROLE playing and the ROLL playing sunk up, they perfectly harmonize, and Ashley Dame just kind of shows up and delivers this like sort of charismatic uppercut into the jaw of the Camarilla of Chicago. And whilst that's happening, uppercuts are flying elsewhere. Would have been a great transition, except that's not the transition I'm going with,
God
because
damn it! I'm not throwing an uppercut. I'm sad.
as you
You're getting uppercutted.
mention
no.
war, we have Sasha's sort of senses incapable of sort of picking out the murmurs of people that are kind of talking beside or not behind Ashley's back type thing, but you have those people who are always like, oh yeah, whatever, sort of thing, where they're
She's too busy
talking
eavesdropping on
sideways while somebody is. You
different
hear
conversations.
in like sort of like one hemisphere of your brain, you hear Ashley say the word, time of war. And in the other hemisphere of your brain, you hear a familiar voice, the familiar voice of your sire say, I assure you, war is coming.
Where's that coming from?
And
Do I
you
know?
are now in the census of Soren, who you can sort of tell from where your vantage point. He is not in the conversation. He is distant from it, but he is using his own auspex to sort of eavesdrop on a private conversation in a sort of the entire, like, the sort of like opposite of what would be Century Park is, some just utterly decimated, sort of industrial, like run down industrial building that's been condemned, and so the total sort of opposite of this outside Century Park, we have ourselves in this dilapidated, run down industrial, former industrial, what is it called? A site where they make things, but it's not a warehouse. They actually make things.
Factory.
There we go.
Sasha grabs her phone from her pocket and starts messing around with it, just trying to casually look disinterested in things around her as she is trying to listen to whatever Ashley's saying and also try to listen further to whatever she's hearing on the
Yeah, and so
other side of her brain.
we get sort of a shot from Soren's perspective, where he has, in Banu Hakimian fashion, fully infiltrated some secret meeting elsewhere in Chicago. We find him
Fucker did it without me.
we find him sort of looking into this decayed factory, where a number of figures in robes, each bearing a moon, this sort of like transition of moons in different states, gather. There are about 7 of them conversing, and one of them with the full moon crest sort of most prominent on their lapel, on their robes, is the one speaking, and that's the one from which your sire's voice emanates. Now the faces are all shrouded. Obviously, they're doing a spooky meeting in awesome robes and shit, right?
Definitely a cult.
The full moon will soon be upon us, and with it, the next phase of our plan. And what of the artist? Another voice asks. And that is where, barring Sasha, what would you like to contribute or say or do in this moment? Because I feel like I cut you off just briefly.
How noticeable would it be if I just bailed out of Elysium?
It depends on how well you roll. Someone will notice. Someone is bound to notice you. Okay? But how much and how overtly it's noticed, and yada yada yada, if the right people notice, and so on and so forth. If you want to put it to the dice, that's where you put it to the dice.
No, actually, at some point while I'm eavesdropping on this whole situation, I would like to go Annabelle's side.
Okay.
That's the move. I'm not going to sneak out yet.
This is a good move. And now we cast our perceptions a week back in time to where Damon and Rory find their senses being overwhelmed, as if a psychic flashbang grenade has gone off inside their skulls. They've been rattled back away from the horror visage of Janet Wicks and her landscape of bloody creativity, as the Static Man has pried himself off the wall and from another reality to come standing mere feet from them. His form doesn't make sense. He is at once looming over you infinitely tall and also at eye level as you stare forward. He is seemingly human. You know, he has the figure and form of a human, but is in the constant, is tripping a constant uncanny valley danger sense. It's like when you hear people tell stories of like close encounters, how like they look at somebody who they thought was human and then they just get terrified as they realize that it's not. It's in a perpetual state at that. Like his limbs stretch a little too long. He's got a little his doesn't have nearly enough torso for as long as his extremities are. And yet he is, as he bends, as he walks and stuff like that, he reaches things as one would if they were properly proportioned, like that. And he doesn't so much walk as he jaunts between blinks of an eye. His form seems to hold the motion as though he was walking, where a arm will move up a little bit, his legs will be in different position, but you're not sure if you ever really see him walk. And he is dressed like almost like a child's nightmare of what a mortician must dress like, with a sort of like at once gaudy and plain suit. It's like just plain sort of dingy black, but with like weird like accoutrements, like for whatever reason, maybe like a flat edge razor in the lapel that a child would imagine is used for trimming the beards of the dead to make them presentable. Who knows? Again, it's just this parade of illogic. And despite your undead nature and your predator station in the World of Darkness food chain, it is apparent to y'all that you're not safe. It's like when you stare at fire, that frenzy, except the fear isn't leading to a frenzy. You're feeling the fear without the almost welcomed sense, that without the almost welcome break that a proper rot Shrek or frenzy would give you from the fear that you're stuck in it. It's almost as if mechanically you can't frenzy around the Static Man, for good or ill.
Ooh, well,
And
you
the
certainly know how to make an entrance.
And the final point is when you stare at his eyes, it's as if somebody has taken a pen and just etched and the sort of like is actively scribbling out his eyes and face, and it keeps rotating, and like much like when he walks, it does that. And when he talks, you'll go on to learn his voice is always bracketed by like a garbled almost growl, like an almost electronic growl on either side of it, as it sort of sort of waxes and wanes in and out of your auditory perception. You quip on his entrance. Damon, what do you do?
I start digging in my pockets for a piece of paper that I was going to give to Rory. I was hoping we'd have more practice at this, but this is
Now is not the time for love letters.
yeah, it is.
I will allow the coterie to go first. Where an encounter like this isn't really, I wouldn't really call it combat, but we'll have a sort of order of operations to it, you know.
You're a fucking weird dude.
So, hi. Nice to finally meet you. What can we do for you? What brings you to this lovely theater this evening?
His arm sort of like at first it seems to slowly reach for, and then it just sort of jerks and it's up, and you see these sort of elongated fingers where there should be fingernails. There are none. The flesh itself comes to like a barb or a point, but you can almost, as you stare at his fingernails, you see where the nails themselves are broken, as if trapped inside something and trying to scrape his way through, and they've broken and chiseled away over time, leaving the blood itself to coagulate into these almost barb-like nails on the end. Apart from the bloody fingers, nails and stuff like that, his hands don't have any other imagery of like harm or character one way or another. There's something that seems like skin, pallid, and you know, fleshy and so on and so forth, but it's lacking in tone and it doesn't have definition of veins, and it's just, again, you're in the uncanny valley. He almost moves in that like the fucking Ringu monster manner, like toward you a little bit more, and that this hand's coming up. Damon, you retrieve a piece of paper from your pocket. What do we got going on here?
So, because I'm not adept at blood sorcery, I needed help from somebody who is, and so I started scribbling down some stuff that I need the blood mage for. And while I'm digging through his paper, I'm be like, "So you're gonna throw fireball at me in the dark, but you'll fucking sit there and have a chat with that?"
No offense, Damon. He's scarier than you are.
Then why didn't you throw a fireball at it yet? Weird, dude. You throw things at you throw fireballs at things you're not scared of? That doesn't track.
Sometimes my brain works.
Well, hopefully it works when I find this paper.
You've retrieved the paper. I mean, it's a piece of paper.
All right. So it's a manuscript of a ritual that I need his participation in, and I'll do an Oblivion part. If we manage to make this work, we kind of bar or at least weaken this thing, at least enough to talk to it or communicate with it or get the fuck away from it.
So you're going to Wonder Twin powers activate except with blood and shadow?
Basically.
Bound and down.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty cool.
I mean, weaker stuff would get bounced, but this thing's obviously not weak, so it's not going to bounce. But it might not be strong
Unbelievable!
Leave us smiling like idiots on the floor afterwards, or eyeless.
I really wonder what kindred creativity exploded onto a wall would look like.
I mean, you can have Rory's right there. I don't have to be faster than this thing. I just got to be faster than Rory.
Pretty fast.
I'm sure you're both pretty fast. All right.
Okay.
All right, so let us see here.
We sure it's a good idea to just start doing a ritual right in front of them?
Well, it's better than talking. It's the same thing, jackass, except hopefully this thing does something.
So
Well, I mean, I've said hi,
I
and
think
they're
I think we're gonna have ourselves a good old fashioned like horror movie style
You've
chase
seen The
scene.
Exorcist, right?
You fucking throw you throw shit in its way and try to escape to get someplace where you can cast this ritual and have some time to do it. All right, I think that's like the most. That's what happens in my head anyway, where I see this happening.
Basically, it's like The Exorcist shit.
Yeah.
sure, yeah. I mean, if it starts making those kind of moves, then yeah,
Those
I
kind of moves, you still did your
will.
girlfriend on the wall? It's already done those kind of moves, man.
So it becomes apparent to you that you need to delay this motherfucker
We
to
need to
buy
go.
yourself
All right.
to get away. So you need to delay, get away, and start ritualing.
All right. Cool.
You
Then
happen to have one fireball in your possession.
happen to have one fireball.
Hey, look, over
exactly.
there.
Yeah.
Hey, look, a distraction.
God damn it,
First,
Scooby.
I'm
Get
gonna
on.
activate fleetness. I do get hungrier. Cool. Welcome to 3 hunger. Let's go. But I'm fast now.
Your beast's voice begins to come in, but it sounds like it's getting further away, and not in a comforting way.
Mm-hmm.
It almost seems like it's pulling away from you and toward the Static Man, as it's like comes in with its token tough guy, like, hey, and it just gets. It's almost like the volume knob is being turned down, or like there's a Dolby Atmos surround sound, and it's being pulled toward the Static Man. You're certainly hungrier, but the actual voice of your beast. And elsewhere, narratively speaking, you know, a wind blows in Millennium Park that just sort of carries the city smells, and along with the sort of smell of, like, in Chicago City, you get the smell of the kine in it, and all the various day activities that just sort of hang there until the cooler air of the night pushes it down and that breeze hits you all. So everyone's going to roll for the evening, for stirring for the evening and their hunger, as everyone becomes aware. Back in our cave,
Oh,
Damon's
I got a skull.
and then you'd have to roll a second time as well, because it's the night's hunger check.
Okay.
Damon has to roll his first time.
Well, shit. Damn it. All right, I'm at 4 then.
I'm at 1.
Shit.
I have a question. I know myself, or Ashley and Sasha have gone 5. Has Rory gone 5 yet this season? No.
I don't think I've hit 5. Yeah.
Has he even hit 4 before?
I've hit 4 before.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
Well, this is gonna be fun.
You're normally my route checks go much better.
No, wait, you didn't hit 5 explosion when Sasha got kidnapped? I'm pretty sure you did.
No, he just frenzied in essentially. You can frenzy if your best friend's getting hurt and stuff. Like, if you read all the conditions of frenzy.
Yeah, you can frenzy whenever
you can
want.
frenzy for a lot of different reasons as a vampire. For hunger, interesting, says Charles.
Quiet you.
All right.
Yeah. I was just trying to look at Dave, and I'm like, you might want to go first.
I will. Don't worry.
Thanks, bud. Go.
I'm gonna grab the back of Rory. I'm gonna use blink and take a distance step back.
Yeah, you can basically get to the furthest limit of what you can see, in a single blink without making an acrobatics check, or you can make the acrobatics check to blink and do some crazy shit. In this case, you'd have to do the acrobatics check if you'd like to sort of like get upstairs a level, because you're sort of like hitting at a, you're going away and then you're sloping. It'd be a 90 degree if you're looking at it from above, turn type thing, but then you're also going, diagonal up on that sort of off that elbow. So I suck at math.
Oh, shit.
Don't at me.
In that case, as we're going up the stairs, I'm going to want to launch the fireball before I lose sight of Staticky.
All right. Roll for your fireball.
Yep. I want him to be in the fireball. 4, 5, 8. You know what? We're here. Let's tempt fate. I'm gonna rouse. Do not get hungrier. 2 more dice though. Oh, that's real fucking cute. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. 10 successes, bestial crit, bestial failure. My dice decided to go nuts.
I'm going to say yes. So why don't you tell me in which way your beast, and it's a messy critical. So allow me to know in which
Messy
way
critical, that's the word.
your beast goes sort of like overboard with this fireball, as well as causes you to fuck it up. I will allow your imagination to run wild with this one.
Shit. Yeah, I think it's like an overcharge. It hits Static Man dead center, which wasn't even where I was aiming for. I was aiming for like the ground, but like accidental like center mass, and then the massive explosion. The theater, I don't know, might be on fire now.
Yeah,
and on top of that, just the shock wave. I might be pinned under some debris now.
I think where the failure aspect's going to come in is that you torch Janet Wicks's body along in the explosion.
That's fine. I have the book.
Fireball the van.
So what I think, so like you like as you're being sort of ripped backward, you launch this sort of mote of flame, so that grows in intensity. You're on target, and you sort of like see it like hit the Static Man, and it almost seems to sort of like shunt through him, and like hits Janet Wicks sort of directly behind in a just glorious explosion of flame. You see the fire sort of ripples out and engulfs virtually everything in the room. And the Static Man initially seems engulfed in it as you're sort of like going upstairs, but you still hear the whine of that sort of mechanical screeching noise from the basement. It sounds somehow angrier, if such a thing can sound angrier.
Fucking hell, that was a perfect fireball.
You have upstairs. You're going to need some space to do this, and you're going to need to somehow buy yourself a little bit of time to get this ritual off.
I'm hoping I collapsed like the stairs in that room, and
there is debris aplenty.
Yeah,
there is debris aplenty.
Yeah,
and you're thinking that maybe if you go to like with another blink from with another blink from Damon to like the opposite side of the theater, to like one of the other theater rooms, if you like throw like a quick barricade together, you might be able to like buy yourself just enough time to get this ritual off. So I think that's what I think, Damon. Then you're gonna sort of like literally like. I mean, it's one of my favorite scenes from Interview with a Vampire, like where you just by the was it Armand not Armand, Louis suddenly by the light switch, right? Like, you're just suddenly to the theater doors across the way. You sort of rush in, and the chairs aren't all like, oh no. The perfect place for this visually is the actual like stage, is it not? It's got to be the stage. So you blink your way to the center theater. Basically, you're up on the stage, and you begin basically carving into the wood of the stage itself your ritual seal, and you're a blood mage, so handily a bunch of your blood is a lot of what you kind of need for this. And you've got basically a piece of paper from Damon that sort of gives you the it's like a recipe, for baking cookies, except you're baking demonic magic, it's and I just
carry this around in your pocket.
Sure, that's what I do.
I have to know what the note. So you've got like a piece of paper, it's got like a ritual drawn on it. It's got some basic.
I want to know what the fucking ritual
I
is.
have to know what Damon's like. What like, does it have Damon's handwriting on it? Cast in case a demon, like what? Like, just,
it's like the back of a Waffle House menu.
Just kind of
like,
describe this to me. Like, what is Rory looking at as you sort of like, yeah.
Well, you got the actual writing of the ritual stuff, and then on the backside, it's a receipt to a 7-Eleven because I had to put gas in my motorcycle.
Where? What 7-Eleven?
Does it
in Chicago?
No.
Was it recent? Was it like last night, like, or something like that? Like that you...
Is it a Milwaukee 7-Eleven?
It was a Milwaukee one.
Ooh, so it's been in his pocket for a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
They have really big problems with ghosts in Milwaukee.
Like you.
So, and this ritual is it's a binding ritual of some kind?
No, it's actually to harden the veil, so ghosts and spiritual entities have a harder time getting to us, to this side. Unfortunately, for something possibly as strong as him, it just may make him less strong. And then maybe you could talk to it, throw a fireball at it. I don't know what you want to do with it.
That was my last fireball.
Ooh, then you better work on your talking skills, or hope this works.
Yeah.
You were so gung-ho about talking to it, and then you fucking shoot with a fireball. It walked through a wall, man.
You said to buy time. I bought fucking time.
I didn't say you had to attack it.
I can imagine Damon just like
What
standing
kind of D&D
over
wizard are
Rory.
you going throwing fireballs?
I
Jesus.
can imagine Rory standing over Damon, or Damon standing over Rory as he's like slicing his his palm and like spreading blood and like putting down the symbols and they're just like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, there's like all kinds of
want me to
haunted
do?
house
Kick a
shit
rock
going
at him?
on
Like, what the
too,
fuck?
like
How
at
else
the
am I
same
supposed to
time.
Fucking buy any fucking time.
This is like Scooby-Doo operation, man.
Like those shadows that were like present, when you were coming through or the haunted house stuff, they're
What's just like
fucking
Scooby-Doo?
fleeing, by the way. Like they're going they're like going in every which way. Like way. And like one of the sets, that they keep like sort of raised up just fucking drops down in the background. It's Three Little Pigs, by the way. Or rather, the real story of the Three Little Pigs as told by Big B Wolf. And you are the hamburgers, by the way. The cheeseburgers.
It feels it. I feel it.
In paradise?
Yeah. We are going to have
A roll for this ritual.
Yeah, you're gonna have to roll. You actually both have to roll because you're sort of Wonder Twins power activating. He needs to juice it with some Oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to juice it up with some blood sorcery. So it's going to be an intelligence, blood sorcery for you, and Damon, it's going to be an intelligence Oblivion for you.
Oblivion.
You can also, yeah,
My thaumaturgy specialization apply?
no, not this
Okay.
time because this is
Fair enough. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, and I'm at 4.
This ain't
hunger,
some
so I need to-
thaumaturgy shit, bro.
No, this is like old school thaumaturgy. This is new school,
Well,
like
Demon shit.
This is new school wackadoodles.
yeah. I mean, you've got like infernalism.
Intelligence.
It doesn't go into it like mechanically in the game, but you have what are
Jesus
essentially
Christ.
like infernalism, quietus. You know, like you have different types of blood sorcery, and thaumaturgy
Yeah.
I have kind of termed to be the what would have been more classically what we understand. I mean, infernalism's easy. It's demon shit. Quietus is a little harder. I let a lot of that count as thaumaturgy anyway. And then you have Oblivion shit, which is obviously going to be a different school. But this is point is this isn't.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna rouse again. I do not get hungrier. Okay, which means I have one more regular dice than blood dice for this roll. Fuck me.
Maybe when we're not on fire. We're almost on fire.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the theater's catching. Yeah.
I know what system I'm going to use for this, by the way, because I like it.
Oh shit, whistles.
You're going to want to roll good, but you're also going to want a lot of willpower to deal with, like, you know, ethereal garbage. So I don't know.
Ethereal garbage. This is why I keep telling you, get a way to block spirit stuff.
Hey, the house isn't haunted, homie.
No, but everywhere else seems to be.
Really? I have way fewer ghosts in this chronicle than the last one. What are you talking
Hey,
about?
Static Man counts.
Does he?
I
Or are you
mean,
about
counts
to
as a
find out he's
spooky spirit
something
thing.
way else?
I mean, it could be.
I am spending a willpower to reroll 3 dice.
I mean, I'm playing the odds that 75% that it affects him.
I have a theory about the way less ghosts than the last Chronicle
I've got a
situation.
theory. It's a demon. A dancing demon. No, something isn't right there.
All right.
Musical theater
We're in
demon?
trouble.
I don't know. Every time we talk about Static Man, I still think of Alistair.
No, my theory is that if I wasn't playing in this game, there would be way more ghosts.
Probably. Maybe. I don't know.
I'm gonna be spending so much time with ex-boyfriend crap. So what would you do with that time? More ghosts.
You know
That's
what?
my
You are
theory.
right. That's just math, okay? Like that is just -1 boyfriend plus ghosts. Like it checks out. I can't help it.
You're welcome.
But the boyfriend likes ghosts.
Does he?
But
That's
He's not a
way
good
more
make it
protagonist.
worse.
way more Dante's thing is like killing ghosts and demons and that kind of shit. Like you don't really like kill a ghost so much as you appease a ghost. Like a wraith. Like you don't really anyway.
Not in this game.
2 successes, bestial failure.
Oh no.
What? On your ritual you got 2
I rolled 2 successes and a bestial failure possibility. Yep.
Oh, that makes it so
My
much.
reroll came up nothing.
Okay.
So,
Oh my
hi.
god, that's so
How you
good.
I have
doing?
the opposite luck. I
I'm
got 7
screwed.
successes with a critical success.
So here's the thing: you're both in this ritual together. So his failure is
Is
your
my failure.
failure.
It's our
messed-
failure, comrade.
Hey, I messy critted on
Magic is
spying on
socialism.
my ex. I'm having a great night.
Dory, you had one job.
You had one job.
Oh.
I haven't had to do one of these in ever, I think, actually.
You probably also haven't had to have like a 7-foot tall monster of a man who like dual
Hovering.
wields Harley Davidsons, like questioning your magic
Yeah.
abilities. Um, um, the theater goes quiet. You've sort of like drawn the ritual. Your blood is sort of like slowing to this viscous drip, where it's going in super slow motion. Everything else, like your breathing, well, you wouldn't be breathing because you're a vampire, but like your person is moving at normal speed, but your blood itself is slowing into almost a tar, right? Um, Damon's eyes have gone abyssal black, and he's sort of standing. You're both standing sort of like opposite sides of the circle at this point. You've got a classic, like a triangle, and then like the circle drawn, like imposed atop the triangle, and the triangle sort of extends outside of the circle. And then within your circle, you have some other stuff drawn. I would imagine you just keep some candles on you because you got to have some candles and shit. For this ritual, you have like a single candle at the center, burning, and like you're a wizard. You carry some various incense and stuff that are sort of like ubiquitously useful in spiritual rituals or blood magic rituals. Sage tends to be big, and myrrh, and there are literal like whatever your type of magic, you would have some like go-tos, like the hits. Magic isn't so much about like a specific per se, like all the time. It has a lot more to do with your specific will and interpretation of that stuff. So you've got your hits, right? Like you've got your stuff that you keep with you. Yeah, myrrh as in murder. So you've got, you've done your bet. Salt and iron are pretty common for virtually everything. Sulfur's pretty common for virtually everything. Depending on, again, it's a lot about your will and interpretation, and using these focuses to influence your reality and to impose your magic on the world and stuff like that. So you go through this. You draw up the seals and the sigils. Blood sorcery for Tremere these days is an awful lot about like symbols, sigils, runes, right? So the fact that Damon had those for you was half the work already, and now you're putting your will into it. And as you begin sort of conjuring, you see your seal, light up a little bit with a sort of like crimson, like glow. Your blood as it illuminates, and it's kind of hued or kind of cloaked in a bit of a shadow as Damon sort of joins in with, you notice Damon sort of like almost in a meditative, almost like a martial, more of like a martial arts sort of meditative stance and state, as he maybe has a chant or a something he goes to, but it's his shadow, you notice, being most active in the ritual, and it sort of leans into the seal, and where your blood is powering it, it's his shadow that you see sort of like beginning to take shape and stuff like that into the seal, and it sort of begins almost like its own living entity, and everything goes quiet. The papers that are blowing around, like old playbills from days past, scraps of the ceiling tile that have fallen down just over time in disrepair. Even the shadows that were in a sort of constant peripheral cascade have ceased to move. And then the sort of grand door at the front cracks ever so slightly, letting in a bead of light from the sort of ambient city that's managed to get through some of the boards, just come in and almost draw a line between you two. It's weighted in such that the line is much closer to Rory than it is to Damon. almost sort of showing the weight of the magic in a sort of visual representation, how it's closing in that beat of light. It is shrinking around Rory, right? As he can feel his own magic, just him not getting all of his soul into it, right? And that's when you sort of like both catch in your peripheral the static man just sort of coming through the wall to the side, similar to the basement before. He doesn't just transport through it, he rips himself through this wall again. And we're going to call it there. You have rolled dice. We'll know the results next week.
I hate you.
God damn it.
I hate you, and I would like to negotiate for 20 more minutes.
Ooh, son of a bitch.
Just because I want to know what happens to them
Right now.
right now. I want 20 more minutes. If you're going to blow them up, just rip the Band-Aid so I won't have to worry about next week.
I'm just going to go ahead and tell y'all to have your backup character concepts ready to go.
First of all,
It's way worse than needing a backup character, guys. You will be playing Rory and Damon next week. Oh,
I'll be
a slightly more possessed Rory, perhaps.
Oh no. This is like the
Right.
submerged directive all over again. Fuck you.
You-
God.
And then Damon has to kill his new best friend. He's choking him and crying at the same time. Like, why? Damn you! You had to get possessed. I gave you the ritual.
Well, I guess it's a good thing I have a spare boyfriend.
At least.
Not a spare boyfriend.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
So,
Spare
Sasha,
boyfriend.
bad news.
Oh God.
Not the spare boyfriend.
Less bad
All right.
news. Still getting laid. It's okay.
All right. Why don't we go around, let everyone know who's been playing who and where to find y'all.
Don't fight me. I'm an awful person.
And
And who are you? Who you been playing? Where can they find you?
Well, apparently I was playing a really awful person who's been blood bonding people all week leading up to Elysium. That's a whole thing. Hi, I'm Anne. Find me on Twitter because that's the easiest place. XO_girl wonder, and then from there there's a whole post that will tell you to go other places because I'm too fucking fucked up right now to function. Someone else talk.
Shelly.
hi, everyone. My name is Shelly Von Miller. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Shelly Von Miller. I've been playing Ashley Dame, the now Ventru Primogen of Chicago. Who's about to fucking cause a war. So y'all have fun with demons and ghosts and shit. Ashley's about to go fight First Light.
Not if Sasha beats you there, because she's got problems and she's itching to fix.
Scott.
I've been playing Damon and still living in the past with Michael, who's not looking. He looks sad right now. Can't tell if he's sad that we did the ritual or sad that he's still here.
I'm gonna be so jet lagged next week.
Yes. I am Michael. You can find me on the internet at Sub-Zero Jalapeno. I have been Rory. Next week I may be the Static Man.
We haven't
Tune in.
decided yet. Tune in. Yeah, come back.
Bring your friends. Tie them to a chair.
And I
If
have,
they're into that.
hey, sometimes you might not be into that, but you might play one on the internet who is into that.
Yeah. Hey, what about you, Meph? Who are you?
Oh, I'm the magical Mr. Mephisto. I assume if you're here, you know that I am the most dangerous man on the internet already, and this game's unreliable narrator. You can find me on most social media at Mephisto Mori, or here on Twitch, obviously. But yeah, I've enjoyed torturing my players today. In particular, Michael.
Oh well,
and edging Sasha from the horrible violence she wishes to inflict.
God damn it! You should have just let me have that. You motherfucker! I could have inflicted violence on the static man.
I know.
Instead,
So
Rory had to be all like, "I gotta get there first," and then this happened.
I said I don't kill players. Players kill players, and usually it's because a series of bad decisions. One of the bad decisions somebody may have made might have been to go deal with the static man solo. And then I'm just
I get shit all the time for Sasha's bad decisions. At least I own it.
But if you want to see if Rory survives or becomes the static man, be sure to tune in next week at the same vampire place and the same vampire time.
Maybe there'll be a fusion dance.
Fusion ha dance, in the meantime, remember
Rory's hair gonna just like blink out at the static.
God, that's fucked up.
You will be crawling out of a TV near you.
Yeah. Ringu style.
Oh God.
Yeah, chat gang, thank you so much. Charles, thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening. If you're watching the VOD, remember to drink your milk, pay your taxes, be excellent to yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Enjoy your ability milk.
Bye.
Ability milk.